Should you buy a business or should you start a business from scratch? I've done both. I've bought a business and it's run successfully. It cash flows over the loan that I bought it for. And I started a business from scratch and scaled it to over 3 million in sales. So I have done both. And today I am not here to tell you which one is better. I'm here to help you determine which one is better for you. I have 5 questions that I ask people when I have calls, when I have mentoring calls with people, when they're saying, Nate, should I buy a business? Should I start a business from scratch? I go through these 5 things to help them determine. So hopefully these 5 probing questions will help you determine what's best for you. Should you buy? Should you start from scratch? I think there's so much potential out there to buy right now. There's also a ton of potential for you to start brand new and scale something that's 100% yours. So let's go through here. The first question I ask people is I say, tell me your current capital situation, which is money, right? Capital is a fancy word, but tell me your current money situation. Do you have a lot of money sitting around? Do you have a lot of money that you got inherited for something? Is this something that you're able to put a decent down payment on? Do you have like 50 to 200 grand available that you want to take risk on, that you want to go potentially put a down payment on a business that you want to buy? And maybe what type of business are you wanting to start? Are you starting a business that requires equipment that you have to buy, or do you have to buy property to start that business? What are the business ideas and what are the capital requirements of them? Because if somebody does not have a lot of money, I would almost recommend them not buy a business, because you're going to have to find somebody who's willing to owner finance the deal with no money down, which can be done. And I've made videos about how to do that on my page, but it's very hard to find an owner who's willing to sell a business to you with no money down, and then you pay them over a monthly period. It can be done, but it's very hard to do. So I would say, hey, if you don't have a lot of capital, I would start from scratch, start very, very lean with minimal expenses to get yourself off the ground and running. The second question is I say, are you able to start the business and quit your job and go full-time into it? Or are you looking to do something on the side while you continue to maintain your job, right? Because sometimes it doesn't make sense for you to quit your job. You want to start a business on the side because you have that money coming in, you have benefits, maybe you have responsibilities of a family. Don't quit your business and put your family in shambles. Make sure you have a plan in place before you're going to do that. So if you're not able to go full time, then I would not suggest that you buy a business, because buying a business requires you to get in there. And if you're taking over existing business that has a little bit of size to it, it's going to require full-time effort. Even if you're buying an existing franchise, there's a lot of management involved, and especially when you're buying a business, you're putting capital at risk. You want to be in there all day long in your hands in the business to see what inefficiencies were going on, to change it, and then you might have some more time down the road. But at first, you're going to have to be in that business full time. If you're not able to go full time, I would suggest that you start a business as a side hustle on the side to grow it, and then eventually quit and go full time. Number 3, I ask people, do you have a sales strategy? Okay, I'll say this real quick. As a business owner, until you're over 3 to 4 million in revenue, you are the 100% number one salesman, sales manager, sales guy at your company. And if you don't have a sales plan of how you're going to bring in more revenue, how you're going to bring in more sales, then you should not start a business. You should not buy a business. Now, it is easier if you're not a big salesperson. Maybe you don't have a great strategy of how you're going to bring in clients. Maybe it makes sense for you to buy a business that's already doing successful in sales, optimize that sales strategy that they already have, continue it, and move forward. But if you don't have a good sales strategy and you don't know what to do, then you shouldn't start a business from scratch, because no one's going to buy from you and you're just going to go out of business, okay? So make sure that if you're starting a business from scratch, you have a 100% sales strategy blitz ready to go to bring in revenue, okay? So another thing, number 4 here, have you found the right business idea? So if you're going to buy a business, you have to be 100% committed to that business idea. Buying a business is more of a commitment than dare I say marriage. When you buy a business, you can't, marriage, something goes south, you could probably get a divorce within 6 to 9 months, right? Whatever. A business, you're putting your money at risk, and sometimes you can't just close your doors because you have existing clients. So make sure that you are in the right business idea, that you're ready to be committed to it, especially if you're buying a business, because you're buying something that's already going. I remember when we bought a business that was interacted with our insurance agency, we bought that business and we started getting tons of calls the day after we closed from that business, and we were like, oh my gosh, we have to manage this machine here. We have to manage it because we didn't expect that we were going to be getting that many calls. So we were like, oh my gosh, and we had to staff up and make sure people were answering the phone call. So, you have to be 100% committed, and you have to know what you're walking into. If you start a business and let's say something happens, it doesn't fit, you thought it would be a little bit different, you maybe thought it was a good idea, but the people aren't responding. You made mistakes, and that's okay. That's what entrepreneurship's all about. You start a business, it doesn't work. You don't sit there and try to, you give it 100%, but at some point, if you know that, hey, the ship is sinking and it's not a very good idea, move on to another idea. It's easier to do that when you start from scratch because you probably don't have that much capital at risk, and it's something that you probably haven't put too much of things into. But if you buy a business for $1 million, you can't just walk away tomorrow because you got $1 million in it. You got to make it work, okay? So make sure you're committed to that right business before you buy. And if you start, it's easier to move on and move away from a business idea because it's not a super established business. Number 5, what is your goal? This is what I ask people. What is your goal? Where do you see yourself in 20, 30 years? With buying a business, do you want to buy a business that you could essentially replace your job that you're working now? And if you're making $80,000 to $100,000 right now, you want to find a business where you can profit $80,000 to $100,000 because you don't want to work for somebody else. You want to work for yourself. You want to have freedom. You want to have all the things about entrepreneurship. Great. That's great. Let's find a business that fits what you want to make. Now, if you want to create generational wealth and you want to do kind of the private equity approach where you're like, hey, I want to buy a bunch of pool service companies. I want to buy this one. I want to buy a bunch of, I just want to buy a bunch of them and run them under my umbrella and really grow them and then package them up and sell them like private equity. Okay, sounds good. That's something that we could do there, kind of the private equity model. Same thing with starting a business. Are we creating generational wealth? Are we trying to replace what we're making? Because there's different approaches that may make more sense. It may make sense to buy an existing business if you're just trying to replace what you're making. Because you could probably find a business out there that's doing $150,000, $200,000 in profit. By the time you pay the loan, you're cash flowing $80K. If you're starting from scratch, maybe that's something that's going to be hard for you to replace your salary. So we want to dive in to say, okay, what is your actual goal? Where do you see yourself going? So we can make sure that you're paired with, hey, let's leave the call and let's make sure that we have an idea for going out and buying businesses. What revenue, what profit are we going to be wanting to buy at to make sure we hit our goal? Also, when we start a business, what are we going to have to do to hit that revenue and profit target to hit our goal of replacing our income or creating generational wealth? What does that look like? What does it look like scaled out? Is it the right business that you could scale out? All these things that I do in my one-on-one mentor calls with people. If you'd like to sign up for a call, I have a link in the bio below. I charge $100 an hour. So if you want to do 30 minutes, I can do $50, but I charge $100 an hour for a mentor call. Be happy to help you out. I also have an ebook below right here, Your Next Business, for $5. Let's say you don't have the ability to be able to pay for a $100 an hour call, but you'd rather say, hey, Nate, I like the information you're giving me. I want to know more about how to start a business, how to scale a business. My ebook, Your Next Business, how to find a business idea, narrow down of 1,000 business ideas, narrow down your business idea and scale it to $1 million in revenue. $5, you can download the ebook. And then if you want to have a more concentrated approach, book a call with me. We'd love to have a call with you and see how I can help you out and have an existing relationship with you moving forward on helping you get your business off the ground or find a business to buy. And as always, my name is Nate Jones. If you like this type of content, I'll be posting 2 videos a week. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.